Martin. Mr. Richard Mahoney.
Here.
Mr. John Lewis.
Here.
Mr. Greg Gibb.
Over here.
Mayor Jackie Johnson.
Here. Approve the minutes for December regular meeting.
So moved.
Second. Been properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye. Reflect that unanimously approved. At this time, Council, we have two certificates that was awarded to Chief Hutto. These certificates were, we hope to have issued them a month ago. With your permission, we'll go ahead and issue them tonight, if there are no objections. Let the record so reflect. Chief Hutto. The first award is for Emergency Management Institute, U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Federal Emergency Management Agency, Louisiana Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. Certificate of Achievement. This is to acknowledge that Willard Hutto has successfully completed ICS 300 Intermediate ICS for Independent Incident. Thank you. Again, Chief Hutto. Emergency Management Institute, U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Federal Emergency Management Agency, Louisiana Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. Certificate of Achievement. This is to acknowledge that Willard Hutto has successfully completed ICS 400 Advanced Incident Command System. Thank you. Item number 2. Resolution number 130101. Community water enhancement. Okay, good.
And y'all, for the council, y'all have a little explanation of this in my report. The Community Water Enrichment Fund is, some of y'all may be familiar with the LGAP program, which provides funding, grant funding for municipalities. The Community Water Enrichment Fund is administered by the same office in much the same way as the LGAP fund, but it is only for water improvements. Recently, the city was told by DHH that they needed to abandon. There's 6 existing water wells around the old water plant that need to be plugged and abandoned. The city's been getting quotes to do that work. We're applying for this grant funding, and the maximum amount is $50,000 that the city's eligible for. We're applying for the maximum amount to go towards plugging and abandoning those water wells. Basically, this resolution is authorizing the mayor to submit an application in the interest of the city of Winnsboro to perform these improvements. There's no guarantee that the city will receive the maximum $50,000. This is just that's just the maximum we can apply for, and then Office of Community Development will determine how much the city has granted. Do y'all have any questions about the program? Yes, sir.
Does, how much does it cost to plug 6 water wells?
They've got 2 quotes in right now. The one we're going with is $102,000, I believe. Is that correct, Mr. Skipper? Yes.
And we're asked to plug these water wells by what department?
The Department of Health and Hospitals, Office of Public Health. Back in, I believe it was '04, whenever we did install the new well field. At that time, we were under the impression that if we left everything not in service, but such that it could be used, the wells, the wellhead, the pumps, motors, everything is still in place for these water wells. They just haven't been used for the past 9, 10 years. So basically, we had left everything in place. Well, recently DHH has been revising some of the rules. That's no longer allowed. If you're not going to be using a water well, they expect you to plug and abandon it to prevent contamination of groundwater. They've started assessing and penalizing for the groundwater rule, EPA's groundwater rule, a lot more heavily than they have in the past.
Does it cost more to operate those wells or less than to plug them?
Are y'all required to keep chlorination equipment available at that site?
No.
No. So right now, y'all were not spending any money to maintain those wells?
Electricity's not even.
Okay. So y'all weren't spending any money to maintain it, but DHH has come in and said that y'all have to plug and abandon these wells. The city was issued a notice of deficiency letter last month, I believe, December, in regards to that, based on an inspection by the Monroe area office engineer.
And what about the treatment plant? Are we gonna have to?
No, sir, the treatment plant itself, nobody has said anything about requiring us to demolish it or take out any individual components of that. The only thing that they've suggested was the water wells, because they unabandoned or unused water wells pose a risk to contamination of groundwater. Yes, sir.
Do we have a deadline or, for this cap?
I haven't been in contact with DHH. Mr. Phillip has been handling that, and I assume Mr. Skipper too. They submitted, to my understanding, they submitted a request for extension to DHH. Whenever DHH issues a notice of deficiencies letter, they give you 60 days to take care of the problem. Obviously, the city can't come up with that amount of funding and get the work done in 60 days, so they requested an extension letter. I'm not sure what the extension was for.
60 days.
For another 60 days? Okay. So you can request extensions based on the time frame for completing the work and getting funding. That's not out of the realm of possibility.
May I make a motion that we accept resolution number 13-0101, the community water enrichment fund, to give you permission to seek that grant money of that $50,000.
It has been moved that we accept the resolution 130101. Do we have a second? Been properly moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposes, you have the same right. Let the record reflect that it was unanimously approved. Item number 3, Charles Anderson.
I want to come here tonight on behalf, against the, city police officer, Chief Lester Thomas, Officer, Jonathan Doyle, another one, RJ. 3 months ago, an issue came up where I was charged. Before they took me to jail, 12 people told them was standing there that I didn't do nothing due to an issue, a girl called Betty Campbell, due to an issue that I didn't do nothing. I live across the street, so they was fighting. I happened to go out my door and watch the fight. 12 people told them before they took me to jail, why are y'all taking charge? Officer Chris Shelton and some more officers on duty say, well, Chief Lester Thomas said take everybody that was standing around. Why? So I wound up going to jail. I went and talked to the chief about it. He said that he didn't say that his officer was lying. So he's supposed to be talking to his officer, but due to the officer said he never talked to him about it. I wound up losing $150 bonding out then because when I went to court, the girl stood there and said, no, I didn't do nothing, I was just standing there. So it was thrown out, but I was out of $150. Last Saturday, I was picked up on another charge. Well, I was riding with my nephew. He asked me to go help him load the air conditioner. I did. So that was Saturday. Come Monday morning, my mama says, the police officer been by here about 8 o'clock Monday morning. I'm looking for you. I said, oh yeah? I said, let me call up there and see what they want. I called at 8:30 and I asked him. I talked to the chief. He said he didn't know nothing about it. He talked to Jonathan. Okay. So Jonathan got on the phone. He said, I need to see you today, not tomorrow. Well, me being the man, knowing that I haven't done nothing, I said, I'll be there at 1:30. I got dressed. I went to the police station to meet with them at 1:30 because I wasn't going to run. I got up there. Well, I was thinking the chief was going to be there so he can handle this, but he left out of the office, so Jonathan handled it. I was mistreated so bad up in the office. He kept me in there from 1 o'clock until 5 o'clock that evening. Kept making me write statements. Every time I write one, he would tear it up. Well, I'm telling you the truth. If I wasn't going to tell you the truth, I never would have walked up here. I'll let you look for me because that's your job to find me. But me, I'm trying to be, understanding about it. I go to see them. Tear 3 statements up in 4 hours. So I decided I was tired. I don't like what you want me to say because okay. I was in the car with my nephew. Okay, my nephew jumps out and runs with the air conditioner in the car. Flight from officer, Saturday night. They towed this car in. They don't charge him. Come to my house Monday, I goes up there like a man. But my nephew never been charged. He jumped out of the car, ran. They towed his car in. The air conditioner in his car, he told me to go help. But he's still walking the street. He haven't been charged. But me, I'm out of $450. I just got out Thursday. And I'm tired of paying out money for no reason. So I went to see the mayor Friday morning to actually talk to the mayor and see what I need to do. So they say if I wanted to do anything, that I have to come through the council meeting and go sign up on the agenda. I did. But I went back to the city police station to see if I was entitled to a copy of my report. So Ms. Free said that I wasn't. So RJ was there. He came from around the desk, stuck his finger all in my face. You want to go to the council meeting on my chief and my officer? You can get the hell out of this police station, all in my face. And I throw my hands up so he wouldn't say that I'm causing trouble. I said, yes, sir, officer. I said, yes, sir, I'll leave. And Ms. Free was there, Ms. Tammy Free. She said, Charles, I understand how you feel. That was wrong. He didn't have to come around the desk and stick his finger all in my face because I want to come to the council meeting. I have a right to come to the council meeting. And I went back to the mayor's office and I reported to the mayor's secretary what just had happened at the police station. It hurt me, you know, only because I said I'm going to the council meeting. And he came around the desk and got all in my face. Miss Tammy Free said it wasn't right. She said, I understand how you feel. I'm tired of paying out money. Okay, then I stayed in jail 4 days before any paperwork was turned in. Officer George Wellhite, okay, the bail bondsman Tyrone, say, why are this man's paper hadn't been turned in from Monday up until Wednesday evening? Well, Johnny Tador still has it. Say he doing investigation. Well, how is you doing investigation when you done locked me up? Naturally, you ain't worried about the other guy because you done put it all on me. But this guy should have got flight from the officer or something. And it wasn't my acquisition. I helped him move. Now, I had a felony. I'm going to say this and I'm going to say, I had a felony maybe 15 years ago. I'm 52 years old. What I'm trying to do is stay out of trouble. It's hard for me to get a job right now with the felony I got 15 years ago. So now he went there knowing that this wasn't $2,500 just for an old radiator to come at 2 air conditioners. Probably at the KMN $90. But he set it up, say $2,500, Officer Jonathan Doyle. And I said, why are you putting a felony on me, man? I'm having a problem getting the job now. That's why my nephew asked me to go help get that said it's given to him. So I'm trying to make it out here now. I wash cars, do whatever I can, haul scrap on, because I'm trying to make it. I'd rather go out and work than go out and steal. And now I got a felony on me now. I got to go to court for nothing. Probably $90, but he set it up $2,500. Oh, air conditioning unit. There wasn't no motor fan, it was just a radiator. But every time I go to the officer, they charging me for something. I didn't do nothing, like the girl said, I stood there. That's $750 out. This $450 I just found it out. I don't need to pay money out. I believe if Officer Lester Thomas had been there that day to look into this, instead of letting Jonathan Doyle handle this, I believe I could have got somewhere different. And I believe that when I went up there, I should have got treated better than I did because I'm nice enough to come. But I got treated worse by going than letting Jonathan look for me. And it made no sense. So, me, I'm just going to say next year, my vote going to a different chief. Thank y'all.
Item number 4, Judge Ann McIntyre.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me be here. I think this is a first for me. I did give you a few materials there at your desk, the council members. And what I'm coming for is money, just plain and simple. I don't know if you've noticed, but our awning on the front of the city court building is gone. We have the framework. There was a cloth awning there. And I noticed that Mr. Douglas Gibbons' bid was back in September of 2012, so it happened sometime before then. And also, if you look at the building, since we've got to replace the awning, now would be a good time to do a little paint job. So I know that y'all want the city court to look good and dignified, and so I'm coming to ask if you would look at the quotes. The one that Douglas Gibbons has given is one for a metal awning. The cost of the cloth awning, I was talking to Bobby, my clerk, today, and I thought that I had a cloth awning replacement where it would just come back over the arched framework that's there now, but we didn't have it, and maybe that they just told us orally, but it was about $2,500 would be the cost of the cloth awning, just to replace what's there. And that would be fine, it would look good, but it lasted less time than I thought it should have. So I asked Mr. Gibbons to give us a bid on a metal one that I think would last a lot longer. I also tried to get a bid from Dale Shipman and Mr. Boyette, but they just simply said such a small project, they just weren't interested in giving a bid back at that time. And so, anyway, so you have one bid on the metal awning. It's similar to one that's on White's Ferry Road, Church of Christ in West Monroe. I went by and looked at that. You'll notice the bid also says that if there is a colored panel, we would add $271 to the bid. I believe I'm right in saying that we would go either with a black or a gray, and we would not incur that extra cost. Second page of this little thing that's put together is a bid for painting from Fresh Start. And you'll notice that I asked for two different bids for the front only and for the entire building. It's my opinion that the entire building needs to be repainted. That bid does not include paint. And I was able to get a second bid, and that was from Michael Griffin. And you'll see the difference in the quotes there. And then the last one, my regards to Ms. Kimbrough here. That's from Home Hardware. We'll certainly give Kuipers. I don't get it. A paint estimate, I'm sure it would be similar. Total amount, you'll see that. So, in addition to that, and I'll just bring this up because this is something that we talked about after we talked about the painting and the awning, and that's the need for some additional security at Winnsboro City Court. Security in the courthouses are a big topic these days, and I'm so used to going in and out of that building that sometimes I don't stop to look at how it is. We have two ladies there. No men are there on a regular basis, and there are all kinds of people that come in and out of that building. And the thought is that we like to make it a little bit more secure. And so what we talked about doing is adding a door. As you come in the front door, there's a wide hall, and there are 3 offices off of that hallway. We'd like to stop and make another locked entry before you get to where you would enter the offices themselves. They have it in the district courthouse. Rudy's office has a locking mechanism, and to gain entrance, the ladies would have to unlock that to let somebody come in. I do think it's a good idea. We haven't had a lot of time to devote to getting you estimates, but this will give you an idea of what we're looking at for that. So, that's what I had to present, looking for some help in making our court look better and also to secure it a little bit better. Is that all I do? I don't know.
Thank you, Judge. Do we have any comment?
I think I had previously sent a letter out to the council and the members several weeks ago, I think. So I don't know what the next step is. I'll leave that to y'all. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Kim, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I'm on the agenda tonight because I offered to administer the spay-neuter program for the City of Winnsboro Humane Facility. Just to tell you a bit about who I am, have been a volunteer for the city and its animals for 2 years now, and I've tried to demonstrate through that tenure that I am committed both to the city and to the animals within the city's care. And as far as qualifications, I assume everybody knows who I am, where I've been, and what I've done. But my background is a finance degree. I have a finance degree from LSU, in 19, who's counting? I spent 10 years in Dallas doing both commercial and personal loans. I packaged SBA loans for a bank in Dallas for 10 years. And I currently am a business owner. We have 2 locations in Franklin Parish, Wisner and Winnsboro, and I'm responsible for all accounting functions, including tax returns, receivables, payables, and payroll for 2 locations. So that's what I do on a daily basis. I have a grandiose vision for the program regarding the dogs and cats who are held by Winnsboro in our program, and I'm pleased to play a small part in seeing that to fruition and doing what I can to see that come about. I presented each of the council members with a packet. The first document is the one that needs the most attention tonight, I think, and it's the proposed contract regarding the administration of the spay-neuter program. And I understand that would need to be approved by the council should you ask me to or allow me to do that for the city. I also provided copies of the contracts that we're currently using for to adopt out of the pens, to foster out of the pens. With an adoption, you pay a fee up front and get the spay-neuter certificate, which I've included in there. This is the certificate that we're currently using. One suggestion that I'm not sure whether this would have to go to a vote in front of the council or not, but we have recently, again, this has come up before, have found a significant need to add a background check to our foster program. And I'll discuss that in as much detail as you'd like me to. But the difference between adoption and foster is that adoption typically is a one-time transaction where someone sees an animal that they'd like to adopt, they pay their fee, get their certificate, and take possession of their animal. A foster develops an ongoing relationship with the city, which means that that person signs as a fosterer of record. And then really, in reality, there's no limit to the number of animals that they can foster. And we do have certain requirements to get approved as a foster to see that we are putting the dogs or cats in a place where they would be well taken care of, and establishing a healthy relationship for the city, its volunteers, and the visitors who might encounter these people at the pens when we come and go. So the 2 things are what I'd like for the council to address tonight: the proposed contract and the addition of the background check.
I'm looking at the council. Are there certain steps we need to take? Probably have that communication thing going.
I need to.
Yeah. Okay.
Greg, I see nothing wrong with the proposed contract. The only thing, and I mentioned to the mayor, when the mayor called, when you're handling money that supposedly is being paid to the city, but it's for the veterinarian services adoption, we probably need to at least talk to our auditor and be sure it's set up properly.
Right. And one
Because we
thing
had that same problem with the community center, as y'all recall, that, when people bring in money, there's got to be some kind of
accountability, which I have addressed in the contract. The reason that I kind of gave you some bullet points of who I am and what I do is that I wouldn't logically expect that you would ask or allow just anyone to handle this responsibility, and I do take it very seriously. And I am all about finance and accounting. 1 and 1 always equals 2, and a part of that is communication and reporting. We have reporting responsibilities. And I also suggested that we open a checking account for the city of Winnsboro. The mayor and I have access to the account. but 2 signatures required on the checks, on every check, because I don't want the money in my personal account. I don't want it mixed up with my, well, it needs to be in a separate account because the council needs to see the bank statement.
When you're talking about the mayor, maybe the city clerk or some employee, but the mayor, your signature, his signature to write a check, is what you're saying?
Yes, sir, because this is not income for the city.